Good evening, I'm Mrs. Bolin, and we are still working the college algebra review for exam 1, and we are on problem number 21. And 21 looks like this. It says solve the quadratic equation using the quadratic formula, and the quadratic equation is 3x squared plus 2 equals 0. So that is our question. Okay, so our quadratic equation, again, for a reminder, is x is equal to minus b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac, all of that divided by 2a. So we need to make sure that we're in standard form, which we are. We need to pull off our coefficients. A is going to be equal to 3. B is equal to, you'll notice there is no first degree term, so B is equal to 0. And then C is equal to 2. So our x is going to be equal to minus b, which is 0, plus or minus the square root of 0 squared, minus 4 times a times c, all of that over 2 times a. So that is our setup. Okay, so right here we're going to have a 0, and right here we're going to have a 0. So we're going to have a negative number underneath the radical, and our negative number underneath the radical is going to be plus or minus. We still have to carry that plus or minus out front. That's very important. Do not forget that. So it's going to be negative, and then 4 times 3 is 12 times 2 is 24. Divided by 6. So the square root of negative 24, we can pull out an I, and we can also pull out a 4, because the square root of negative 24 is going to be equal to the square root of negative 1 multiplied by 4 multiplied by 6. Okay? And that is equal to the square root of negative 1 times the square root of 4 times the square root of 6. Square root of negative 1 is I. Square root of 4 is 2. And then we just have the square root of 6. So that's how that works out. So in the numerator we have plus or minus the square root of 6 divided by 6. And that is our final answer. Notice again that we have two answers because we have a positive and a negative x. Alrighty, let me know if you have any questions.